All right, here we go. Going into the semifinals right now.
Yep, William
Cow there on the right against Michael Caffrey on the left. Michael Caffrey playing blue-white Stoneblade. The one of the menaces of the format.
Yep, definitely is.
There are 2 Tier 1 decks in this format, Rogue Delver and blue-white Stoneblade.
Yeah, and that's about it. Everything else is just a little below that.
Yeah, and Maverick definitely there. Like, Maverick is a deck that... Jerry Thompson played Maverick at the Invitational.
Yeah, it's a really good deck.
Jerry Thompson's not somebody who's going to play a deck because he thinks it's cool.
Right. He's not going to sleeve up green cards unless they're really good green cards.
Yeah, he's going to play a deck because he thinks it's the deck that's going to win a tournament.
Yes. Maverick has just so much raw power. Actually, Maverick might be pretty close to Tier 1, too.
I think it is now.
Yeah.
I think it's definitely acceptable to say Maverick's Tier 1 because it's one of the few decks that's a deck that actually gets to play real games of Magic, that plays powerful cards, that is not a dog to blue-white Stoneblade or Rogue Delver.
That's its strong point. It's pretty good against both.
Yeah.
Yeah. Less good against combo, of course. One Gaddock Teague is not going to do it against a Storm deck. That's just the truth. So right now, William Cow, we told you his deck list already. Pretty basic white-green deck, splashing Punishing Fire, splashing Geist of St. Traft and Warrock's Warmonk. Michael Caffrey, if you missed our round 3 wrap-up, he is playing blue-white Stoneblade. Pretty standard list. He has some interesting one-ofs, though. In addition to the usual one-ofs, GTA and Batterskull, he has 1 Wrath of God main deck, 1 Mana Leak, 1 Factor Fiction, 1 Counterspell, 1 Elspeth. So, all these cards sometimes see play, sometimes don't see play, but those are the one-ofs he's chosen to include. The Wrath of God in particular will be awesome against William Cow.
Yeah, and Wrath of God, not a card that you would normally expect out of the blue-white Stoneblade deck.
Right.
But William knows it's there because he gets to see Michael's deck list.
Yeah, and that's really valuable for both players. Legacy's really a format of a lot of one-offs, a lot of narrow cards, a lot of cards that once you know about them, they lose a ton of their value, like Wrath of God. So who do you give the edge to in this matchup? Got to be William Cow, right?
I think so. Punishing Fire is, if he's able to assemble Grove Fire, then it's one of Geist of St. Traft for Michael Caffrey is just about the only thing he can do.
Right.
The only thing he can do in the entire game that matters.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. He only has
a huge deal.
Yeah. Michael Caffrey has 2 Wastelands available to him, only 2 in the entire deck, 2 in 1 Dust Bowl to deal with Grove of the Burn. Yeah. So
yeah, I played 2 Wastelands and no Dust Bowl.
Dust Bowl will be really good against William Cow.
Yes, very true.
Kills Caracas,
no way to
Grove.
find the Dust Bowl besides brainstorming.
That's it. So he'll have to naturally draw it, naturally brainstorm into it with Jace. How is Jace in this matchup?
Jace is good in every matchup.
Jace is good in every matchup, but this one it seems like it's maybe among when it's at its worst.
When I first started playing the blue-white play deck, I asked some people who were familiar with the deck how to sideboard for different matchups that I knew going into a tournament, and they told me to sideboard out Jace in a bunch of the different matchups.
Right.
And then, like, when I actually sat there and was sideboarding, I was just like, no. But I always kept it in. It was always awesome.
Jace, I can't get mad at you. I can't side you out.
Too much. Yeah, I don't know. I think you can make an argument for setting out Jace against some decks, but your argument's probably wrong.
Yeah, Jace is just too good. Resolving a Jason Legacy, untapping with a Jason Legacy, these are things that you don't lose very often after you do, no matter what you're playing against. So, I don't expect Michael Caffrey to side any of those out. But we'll see.
But you never know.
Yeah. Michael Caffrey has played this Blue-White Stoneforge deck a lot. He probably knows how to sideboard against Maverick pretty well. I think he's played it quite a few times in this tournament. There were a good amount of Maverick decks here.
Yeah. I mean, Maverick, very interactive deck, hard deck to play.
Yeah, it is.
We just saw last round how many interactions were happening. Every player had, many different paths every turn, even when they were down to 1 or 0 cards in hand.
Right, 1 or 0 lands even.
Yeah, they would still have like 5 different lines that turn.
Right.
one or two of which looked reasonable.
Right. When you have a creature that says, tap, get any land in your deck, any utility land in your deck, there are just so many permutations. Like, what can they get? How can I counter that? What will they get next? What will I do then? Just so many different lines. How important is the die roll in this matchup?
I'd say it's decently important. I mean, yeah. The die roll in game 1 has to be pretty important. I think a turn 2 Stoneforge, an unanswered Stoneforge, just spells a disaster for either player on either end. Michael Caffrey only has 3 spell snares, which is a bit curious to me.
I was looking at that too. I don't really like that number. Spell snare is a kind of card that I always want.
Yeah, I definitely play 4 of that card.
Right.
That's one of the better cards in the deck.
Right. Pitches to Force of Will if it's not good. Gets put back with Brainstorm or Jace if it's not good. It's just the fact that it's blue is huge. Huge for Force of Will.
Yeah, so somebody's commenting that Jace is not good against Burn, and I'll give you that.
Jace is not good against Burn.
I don't play against Burn, so.
No? There was a ton of Burn here today. Jared Silva said that there were 20 Burn decks in the tournament. 20 out of 140 decks were Burn.
Yeah, and going into the last round, looking at the X1 bracket, not a single one of them the retention. I just don't think it's a very good deck. I think it's a deck that can attack a metagame once everybody stops having sideboard cards for it.
Right.
And, all you really need to do is change one card in your deck, and then you beat that deck.
Yeah.
And so that's a huge problem for me.
Yeah. They were sold out of Leyline of Sanctities. So that right there.
That doesn't bode well. No. So on turn 1, Michael Caffrey has a fetch land and passes the turn. William has a turn 1 Mother of Runes.
Yep. Michael Caffrey, Island, Brainstorm. Wait till turn 2 to Brainstorm. All you players who like your turn 1 Brainstorm should take a cue from Michael. Don't do it. Turn 2 is the earliest you ever want to Brainstorm.
Yeah, and even then, you might not necessarily want to do it that early.
Right.
I mean, he's probably looking for something specific if he had wanted to do that.
Yeah, he would love the swords
to
to plowshares. Yeah. Because once he draws the swords, when that mother is active, the sword is virtually dead. He needs 2 spells to kill any creature.
Michael tanking a little bit here, deciding which cards he's going to get rid of.
Yep. Looks like he's holding a Mana Leak. He knows that one's not that great against William Cow's aggressive deck. So he'll put that back. Say go. William Cow untaps, draws a Batterskull. Doesn't seem like Batterskull is that good against a deck like Blue-White, but once both players are out of resources, sometimes something like a 5-drop is all William Cow would need.
Yeah, and the other thing is that, Batterskull, pretty awesome when you have Mom in play.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
And just Stoneforge Mystic in general, the ability to go turn 1 Mother of Runes, turn 2 Stoneforge Mystic.
Oh, it's huge.
Just insane. If your opponent doesn't have a spell snare here, he's cooked.
Right. The ability to get your Batterskull and know that it will be in play on turn 3 no matter what because you have a Mother of Runes is an awesome feeling. He already has the Batterskull, of course, so he'll get a Sword of Feast and Famine.
Now, Michael, no spell snare here.
Yeah, this
would have
seems
really
like
loved to have had that. And I mean, I can't imagine that Mana Leak there was not a spell snare in a previous iteration of this deck for him.
Right.
So that's got to hurt for him a little bit.
Michael Caffrey will shuffle the 2 cards away he put on top with his fetch land, get a Tundra, and untap with no play on William's end step. So Michael already falling really far behind this game.
Yeah, in a really, really rough spot here.
He would love to have this one of Wrath of God.
That could just take the game right back in his favor.
Yeah.
But he has to find it.
Yep, I see a Vendilion Click, 2 Stoneforge Mystics, Mishra's Factory, Mana Leak in Michael Caffrey's hand. So he is really far behind this game. He'll cast a main phase Vendilion Click targeting William, but he'll see 2 equipment, and that's not what he'll want to see.
I'm surprised he didn't target himself there. I just dig for day at this point.
Yeah, I think he just wanted to get rid of that Sword and Feast and Famine. Hopefully, I think his thing was hopefully
if your
that
opponent
was just
gets
a Squire.
Feast and Famine, he has to have Batterskull, right?
You'd think so. I guess Michael Caffrey just really wanted the opportunity to
you
make
never
it a
know
Squire.
if you never know if William made a mistake.
Right. I mean, he
And
could feel
that's
like
the only
feast
reason
and
to main
famine.
phase that Vendilion Click in the first place.
Right.
I might end step the Vendilion Click and target myself. Or do it when William attacks if he does.
Right. So Michael, after that, done with his turn, says go. William untaps and draws. Draws another Mystic.
Not too shabby.
No. The ability to fetch up that equipment that was put back is huge. And he knows Michael Caffrey does not have a Force of Will. That first Stoneforge would have been forced. William Cow can likely eliminate that from the possible cards in Michael's hand.
Source Splasher, starting that Vendilion Click, Michael Caffrey going to pop up to 22 life from that spell.
Yep, seems very reasonable.
And a Misty Rainforest from William. Grabs a Savannah here. Still no red source for William.
No. He'll put a Batterskull in during his main phase to play around another Vendilion Click.
Seems pretty reasonable.
Yep, of course.
Tapped out.
Yep. Not attacking with that Mother Runes, of course. That will never enter combat.
Seems extremely unlikely.
Yeah, unless it's the killing blow. So this has just been a really poor draw for Michael Caffrey. He really wanted that turn 2 Brainstorm to fix his draw, but it didn't do it. He didn't get what he needed off of it. And really, that's not where Brainstorm's at its finest, either. You don't want to be using your best card on turn 2 just to try and dig for a way to stay in the game.
Yeah, and I mean, the Blue-White Blade deck's pretty resistant to mulligans.
Yeah,
it
is.
You don't have to keep a really wide range of hands.
Yeah. Here's a Stoneforge for Michael Caffrey. Tapping Island Tundra, leaving 2 up. Looking at that Batterskull. Now...
Nope. He's going to grab him as Jite.
In the equipment war, William Cow has a huge advantage because of Quasali Pride Mage. He has 2 copies in his deck plus 4 Green Sun Zenith. So he really has 6 ways to kill any opposing equipment.
But in the Grand Stoneforge war, Michael Caffrey not that far behind because he does have Brainstorm, which is pretty good in the Stoneforge war.
That's true. Get my equipment, shuffle my equipment back, get my equipment, shuffle it back.
Yeah.
Ad nauseum.
Jace.
Yeah,
especially.
well, to not even bring Jace into this. So William Cow gets to untap with his Batterskull. We'll see what he does with it.
I think he's going to attack with it.
He just might.
I will wager dollars to donuts.
There's no wagering in this booth.
But, I mean, I'm pretty hungry right now, so I think I would just wager dollars to donuts.
Just at any point.
Just about anything at this point.
Right. William Cow takes out an opposing Tundra with his Wasteland. And, there's the Pride Mage. Attacks for 5 Exalted.
Yep.
Bring the life total 17 Michael Caffrey, 24 William Cow. And then it looks like he will just ship the turn. Leaving 1 man up for Quasali Pride Mage. You can't really see that Plains, but it's under that little box.
Yeah, there's Full Art Plains right there.
Michael Caffrey now down to 1 white source for his Stoneforges. Won't be able to put both equipment into play this turn, just 1. Giving William Cow a lot of time to work that Batterskull.
Yeah. And another land for William.
Yep. Comes in for 5.
Get in there again with this Batterskull. BB.
12 to 28. Batterskull train keeps rolling on.
That life total is not excessively important in this matchup, but...
No, but Michael Caffrey can't let his life total get too low, or he'll just risk an Alpha Strike with all the dinky little 1-power creatures.
Yeah, you can take about 1 more attack before he really needs to start caring.
Right. William Cow uses the fetch, goes to 27.
And he certainly does not care about his life total at all.
Not in the least. If Michael Caffrey wins, it's going to be in a big way, with an equipment on a Geist or an equipment on a Clique. Or a Jace the Mind Sculptor.
Jace the Mind Sculptor, it's pretty good.
Not a bad card.
Definitely not.
So William Cow taps 3. See what he has. Geist. Wow.
Oof.
If that Geist can pick up that Batter Skull, nope. Not happening.
Not going to happen.
Mana
here.
leaked.
But one nice thing that William did there is by forcing Michael to play the Mana Leak there, he is not going to have to deal with the Batter Skull right away.
Right.
And as long as Michael does hit the land drop, so he may, or does he still have Plains untapped? William?
He does. It's down there under that Legacy semifinal box. So now Michael Caffrey threatening to fetch up a Tundra and Stoneforge both of those equipment into play. He has 4 Tundra in his deck, so no danger of running out.
Michael, now down to 7. William up to 32.
Yep. The life total is rapidly shifting in William Cow's favor here, but we'll see if he can keep the advantage. He does have a Green Sun Zenith in his hand, so that can be another Quasali Pride Mage whenever he wants it to be.
Yeah.
Really
pretty good.
Yeah, really good that he has 2 in his deck. A lot of players only play 1 in their Maverick deck. 2's a way better number, I think. A lot of games you just need both. So Stoneforge for William Cow. Number 4 of this game. It'll get Spell Snared.
Man, look how good that Spell Snare is just for 1 mana. Look at that.
But then the Geist would be in play.
It's true.
Without that original Stoneforge to have the equipment, though.
It's true.
So end of turn, Michael Caffrey. Stoneforge is in Batterskull. And gets to untap. Unmolested. So interesting that Michael Caffrey puts in the Batterskull over the GT. He must feel like the Batterskull is worse than GT here.
Seems to make sense.
Yeah.
I'd have to agree with him. Besides GT, one of the only real ways you have to kill Mother of Verns, but it's hard. You're really going to need to equip that JIT onto that factory.
Right.
So next turn I'll have enough plans to pull it off.
So Quasali Pride Mage takes out the Batterskull when Michael Caffrey swings with the Germ. He doesn't have too much of a choice in the matter here, except to pay 3 and return the Batterskull. Pretty interesting that William Cow let him untap.
I'm interested in that also.
I'm not sure if that was a mistake from William or he just felt that the 3 mana was more important than anything else. Batterskull comes in, and Michael Caffrey just takes it.
Oof.
That's, I'm not sure I like that at all.
And now he's down to 3.
Yeah, with a Mother of Runes in play.
Yeah, and burn spells in William's deck.
Right.
Remember, just Punishing Fire, but still. Punishing Fire can do 3.
Yep, it can. Now, William Cow Green Sun Zeniths for 2. We'll definitely be going to get a Quasali Pride Mage here. And if Michael Caffrey counters it, he doesn't have mana to flash the Batterskull into play. If he, yeah. It's either one or the other, Michael. So Michael Caffrey definitely thinking about this Green Sun Zenith. He'll use his fetch lane going to 2. So right now he is in Punishing Fire range, which again, it's a huge reason why I wish he would have chump blocked with the Stoneforge. Gets the 4th and final Tundra.
Jumping there.
No. Counterspell. So we'll counter that Green Sun. And I think William Cow might be out of cards at this point.
William Cow with no cards in hand. Jeez.
Yeah.
I mean, inactive Mother on the board puts William in a pretty good spot, but Michael could just draw his Wrath of God and jump right back into this game.
Right.
Ooh, well, Zach Tyree playing Dredge up a game.
Yep, as Dredge often is.
Yes. Now, I'm with Drew Levin on this one. I'll bet the house that Dredge is the Dredge versus High Tide matchup is kind of like the High Tide versus Enchantress matchup for Dredge. So
I think so.
The matchup will actually get to watch an interactive matchup. The one player will be doing something degenerate, but the other one will be doing something powerful that's fair and really get it in there.
Right. So right now, Michael Caffrey's turn, trying to decide how he can live.
Ooh, a Knight of the Reliquary. Will further developing his board. I don't think he even needs to.
Well, that GTA is going to be a pretty big problem for him.
Yeah, I guess it's going to get onto that...
Germ token. Right now, William Cow says go. Michael will put a Batterskull into play. And will also put a GTA into play. And now all of a sudden, even though he's at 2 life, the almighty GTA is about to be active.
Yeah. And it's a big game.
Yeah, it is.
Michael's going to need to activate his factory here and equip it. Otherwise, it's not going to get counters because Mother of Runes will give the creature blocking a Jitade Germ token protection from black.
Right. Yeah, I definitely think William Cow made a mistake this game when he let Michael Caffrey untap with that Batterskull.
I agree.
If he had just used it then, the skull would be in the graveyard, and it would be way harder for Michael Caffrey to get back into it. Caffrey will Brainstorm. Has a Force of Will in his hand. That one will almost definitely go back on top.
And not very good right now.
No.
Although, Traumatic Visions, not that bad sometimes.
No.
Even in Legacy.
It's an alright card. I've cast more 5-mana Force of Wills than I think I've seen any other player cast.
I'd say I cast it for 5 mana probably about as often as I cast it for its alternate cost.
Right.
And I normally just shuffle them away with Brainstorm because I hate them so much.
Necessary evil of Legacy, though.
Yeah.
So, Factory comes in.
But I'm a free card opportunist, so...
As we both know. Oh, heads up play by William. He blocks with Germ Token, then returns Batterskull to his hand. So, yep. GTA gets no counters.
No counters on GTA, and Michael took a lot of mana to do that.
Yep. So William can indefinitely keep that GTA without counters. While he builds his Knight, builds his mana base, and slowly takes control of this game. That Knight will now be able to just get Wastelands to take out those factories, so he won't have to do that.
And now the Knight's active, the game is looking much safer for William.
Right.
William decides to put that Batterskull into play main phase.
Yep.
I like that.
Definitely smart. Doesn't want to get Vendilion clicked. He knows there's only one left, but there's no reason to take that risk.
There's no reason to not play around it.
Exactly.
Some nice little free value there.
Michael Caffrey had no shuffle effect to go with that Brainstorm. Knew he was in trouble, knew he had to cast it during his turn, needed to dig. But now he's stuck drawing these bad cards that he put back, like Force of Will.
Force of Will, really bad at this point in the game.
Yeah. Almost worse than any other card in his deck. Except maybe a basic Plains.
Now William, at this point, can put his equipment into play without casting it. And also just
put his lands into play with Knight, basically.
All sorts of shenanigans.
Yep. End of turn. Knight will sacrifice basic Forest. He doesn't really have too many options here that are good right now. He can get a Grove, but no Punishing Fire to go with it. Wasteland's the pretty obvious choice here.
Wasteland seems good. Yeah, I like that.
Definitely. Make Michael invest a ton of mana to equip that GTA to a Mishra's Factory, and then just get Wastelanded. So William Cow gets to untap and draw.
going with Michael at 2 here. It's up to William to find a route to victory.
Yep. Any punishing fire is lethal. He would love to just get this game over with and draw punishing fire, but it looks like his deck's going to make him do it the hard way here, at least for the time being. It's his main phase, 7 mana available to him. Active Knight, active Mother of Runes, active Stoneforge.
Lots of active things. If William Cow had a Barbarian Ring in his deck, he'd win this game.
Yeah, he would. He decides on no attack, no equip, just ships the turn back. Wants to just slowly gain some advantage with his Knight. And actually, interesting to note, one more activation of that Knight, and all 3 Wastelands could take out the other 3 Tundras in Michael Caffrey's deck, leaving him with a basic Plains and Flooded Strands to find them.
Oof. So that wouldn't be very good.
No. That way Stoneforge could not be activated. But instead he opts to get a Horizon Canopy. Just wants to draw into that punishing fire, I think. So draws a card. Draws a card. Gaddock Teague. If he plays that Gaddock Teague, that'll force Michael Caffrey's hand with that Force of Will.
Yeah, pretty nice.
Yeah.
Forcing him to tap out in this spot is just so good.
Yeah, it is. So 1 Gaddock Teague. William would have much preferred Green Sun Zenith, but he'll take the Teague.
Definitely forcing that Gaddock Teague.
Yep. But William can't do much besides just say go here.
Yeah, I mean, the Knight is going to gain him an incremental advantage over time.
Right. Let him trade his useless lands that just produce mana for spell lands.
Mm-hmm. Even cashing in Horizon Canopy to draw a card.
Mm-hmm. So Michael Caffrey with at least 1 Swords to Plowshares in his hand. So he's not out of this yet.
The winner of this match likely playing Dredge in the finals.
Yes.
Dredge up a game right now.
Up a game in a favorable matchup.
Super favorable matchup. That was the second match of this top 8 that was almost, I don't want to say impossible to lose, but very, very difficult to lose.
Definitely. So if William Cow wins this match and Zach Tyree wins his match, do you see what finals we would have? We'd have a Cow versus Putrid finals.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
How epic.
That would be pretty epic.
That would be pretty epic. And one of us could win all the way through to the finals. But this match is still going.
Very up in the air. This
very
game's
up in the
still
air.
very
This
up in the air.
game super up in the air at this point.
Michael resolves his Brainstorm. And both players...
Another Brainstorm?
I think
it's pretty good.
Yeah. Both players pretty much just unable to break through here. Michael Caffrey trying to find a way to win this game. William Cow at 36, Michael Caffrey at 2 with an opposing deck with Punishing Fire. He has to do something here. But he really can't in the face of a Mother of Runes.
It's just too difficult.
Yeah. So now William Cow will trade his Tropical Island for another land. Probably a Wasteland here.
I would not be surprised if he got a Wasteland.
Yep,
yeah,
there it is.
This. Another Wasteland for William. And what William really wants to do is just draw a Punishing Fire off the top of his deck.
That would be amazing.
That would be it.
It would. And I'll be interested to see what William Cow does with these Wastelands.
Yeah.
Oh, but it looks like it won't matter.
He just drew a Punishing Fire, and that's going to be it.
Yep. Well, what's that do?
You know, William probably could have double Wastelanded away both blue sources and then done a post-combat, right?
Yeah, that would have been the tighter play. But it doesn't matter because the Knight of the Reliquary can just go grab a Grove.
Yeah, just get it right back.
Right now, Michael Caffrey will have to Sword Splash as his own creature if he wants to stay alive.
He has the swords in hand?
He does.
Okay.
But I don't think that's going to be a route to victory, as William Cow just has unlimited Punishing Fires here.
and just an active knight, an active mother,
Yeah.
sitting there the whole game.
That's just trouble. Mike Caffrey really needed his one Wrath of God. That would have been a game changer.
It really would have been.
After board, he will have access to 3. That'll be big.
Yeah, and this Punishing Fire, especially with the active knight, he can go get a Grove.
Yep.
And Michael's deck, I pointed this out earlier, Michael's deck cannot beat that, especially in game 1, unless he really just has like the 1-0 Geist.
Right, and not with William Count 36 life either. That just would not happen.
Yeah, it's a little absurd for Michael to win the game at this point, now that William's drawn the Punishing Fire.
Right. Michael Caffrey, though, sees the writing on the wall, doesn't want to admit it. Yeah, there we go. There's the scoop.
Yeah, he
knows there's no way out.
Even if he does Punishing Fire, it's just, even if he does Sword Stone Guy, it's just too much.
Right. He's just delaying the inevitable. No draw on his deck could save him at that point. So. If you're just joining us, I'm Zach Hall. This is Jake Van Lunen coming to you live from Star City Open Tampa, where we're deep in the semifinals of our Legacy Open. We just saw an awesome game with Maverick versus Blue White. Really interactive. Equipment on both sides. Many Stoneforge Mystics. But a fair game.
Very fair game. I mean, I appreciate watching games like this. Games where, both people are, interacting with one another. You're actually having, creature combat.
Exactly, not
the
dredge combat.
Yeah, the other match, there's, both players could honestly just be sitting at different tables.
Yeah.
Playing their match, and it wouldn't make much difference. The Cabal Therapy is the only interactive thing that is happening on either side of the table.
Turnabout creatures, that'll probably come up at some point, but that's about it.
Yeah, it buys him a turn.
Yeah, say, okay, do I have to turnabout right now? Okay, I'll do that.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
Call across the room.
Yeah.
Hypothetically, I guess you could force a Dread return, and then you just die the next turn to zombies, or...
I guess, yeah.
Yeah, it's just...
Either way, not an interactive match.
Yes, the number of times the players will interact with one another throughout an entire game in High Tide versus Dredge is single digits.
Yeah.
Where, the number of times you're interacting with your opponent in this match...
Every turn, every priority.
Yes, I mean, perhaps in the hundreds per game.
Yeah.
Very possible.
That's true.
All right, so we're about to give away 6 free months of premium. Now, I've got a question for you. In the finals, we're going to give away Gen Con badge.
Right.
And I'd like to know where that event is being held.
Ooh. Well, I know.
I know also.
Well, but they don't know.
Maybe they do.
Well, if you do,
if you
tweet
do,
your
you have
answer.
an opportunity to perhaps win 6 free months of premium.
Use the hashtag SCG Premium. Just make sure you use that. You don't have to tweet at us, though you can. Make sure it has SCG Premium, and one person will be selected at random to win that. You don't have to answer the first, you don't have to answer the last, just make sure you get it in before this match is over.
Yeah, and congratulations to Mike Beckwith, who just won 3 free months of premium.
Good job.
Yeah. Now, hopefully, somebody else can win 6 free months right now. Also, if you know.
Not just the state, make sure it's the city as well.
Yes, and remember, hashtag SCG Premium. If you've already submitted your thing and you just have the state, just do it again. Give us the city.
With the city. Yeah.
So you want to give us the location? That's fine.
Yep, sure is. Now, looking at these players' sideboards, let's see what they're going to bring in. William Cow has access to Spell Pierces, a Rock's Warmonk, a Scavenging Ooze, a Stony Silence, 2 Tormod's Crypts, a Maze of Ith, 2 Enlightened Tutors, Bajuka Bog, Loaming Shaman, Crucible of Worlds, Sylvan Library, Aethersworn Canvas. So a lot of one-offs, a little Enlightened Tutor package. What do you expect to see here?
I would... Maze of Ith, definitely coming in.
Yep. Any matchup where there's equipment, Maze of Ith is awesome.
Sylvan Library, probably.
Sylvan Library, for sure.
I just want that Sylvan Library in the main deck.
Yeah, it's so good.
It's really good.
Crucible of Worlds might come in, too.
Oh, Crucible's definitely coming in.
Wasteland Lock is really powerful against a deck that's leaning so hard on the non-basics like Michael is.
Yeah. So, Dredge wins the match, 2-0.
Congratulations, Zach Tyree.
Not too surprising.
Nope, not
Dredge
at all.
deck super favored against that High Tide deck. Not a very interactive match, and High Tide generally trying to go off on turn 4-ish, where Dredge can go off on turn 2 to 3.
Earliest turn 2, latest turn 3 usually.
Turn 2 is extremely common at the Fitness Looting. That's a little scary.
Yeah, it is. Lion's Eye Diamond is a heck of a card.
but depending on how much hate people have, people can really do some damage.
Yeah.
Looking at these sideboards, do these people really have a lot to deal with Dredge? Michael didn't really put a ton of stuff in the sideboard for Dredge.
No, 3 surgicals, not the strongest hate card against Dredge.
Not really. It's definitely
fine.
not bad.
No, it's definitely fine. Killing all the bridges is good.
Killing Narcomoebas, really good.
Narcomoebas is great. That's for sure.
Whereas William, if he makes it to the finals, he can get a Loaming Shaman.
Yep.
Some Tormod scripts.
2 Tormods, a Bajuka Bog.
An extra scavenging news.
Sure. So he has some game. It'll be a little tougher. He'll definitely have to fight for his wins, but he has some game. I would say William's deck is better set up to fight Dredge than Michael's is.
I mean, he even has Enlightened Tutor for Tormod scripts, so.
Right. No Wheel of Sun and Moon. That's one that's been pretty popular in a lot of Maverick decks, but William Cow doesn't have it.
And I don't really like it. Obviously, if you play against Dredge and you don't have it, you're like, oh, I feel like an idiot.
Right.
Card's a mainstay, but it's a pretty narrow card.
Yeah, it is.
It's also permanent, so a lot of the time they have ways to deal with it.
Chain of Vapor, stuff like that. Yeah. So William Cow a little better set up. Do you think we'll see the Spell Pierces in this match from William Cow?
This match we're watching right now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
This one is Jason Elspeth.
I think so too. Spell Pierce will definitely come in. It was really good for him in the second to last round of Swiss that we saw. Spell Pierce played a major role. I think it will here too. Michael Caffrey, on the other hand, 2 Wrath of God in his sideboard, 3 Surgical Extraction, 1 Elspeth, 4 Path to Exile, 1 Oblivion Ring, 4 Leyline of Sanctity.
Now, his sideboard may not be as well equipped to beat Dredge, but his sideboard is pretty well equipped to beat William.
Yes.
Yeah. 2 extra Wraths, really good.
Wrath of God is a card that's it's sort of in a strange place in Legacy. It's really good in the matchups you want it, but dead such a high percentage of the time as well.
Yeah, it's dead a lot.
Yeah.
And it's fine to play a few dead cards in Legacy. You have, especially when you're playing Brainstorm and Jace the Mind Sculptor alongside fetch lands. You draw 1 or 2 dead cards and you can just shuffle them away.
Yeah.
Not really another world.
That's definitely true. Thank you to the people who are tweeting in answers to the question, including the entire address. It was a nice touch.
I appreciate
No
that.
extra points, though. No extra entries into the drawing.
Maybe a little bit.
Yeah, maybe like 0.1.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, 0.1 extra point.
No, it's still just going to be, we'll choose at random.
So, they're off. Michael Caffrey just leading with the Plains. William Cow will counter with a Windswept. And go fetch a land. See which one he gets. He has a Green Sun Zenith in his hand if he wants to fetch a Dryad Arbor.
And that's just...
And he does.
Yeah, he definitely does.
And doesn't even give his opponent the chance to respond. Knows his opponent is not going to force a will that.
I don't mind that. I think
No.
that's... it's a fine shortcut. I mean, there have been some people today who might have wanted to force that.
Right. William Cow, though, definitely respects his opponent. He knows Michael Caffrey is no slouch. Knows the Blue-White Stoneforge deck. Gives him a little more credit than that. So Michael Caffrey has a Tundra for his second land and says go. William Cow uses Misty Rainforest. Drops a Spell Pierce from his deck on the table. That's a little awkward. Michael Caffrey probably assumed he was bringing in Spell Pierce, but it's nice to have a little confirmation. And we'll see what he has for his turn 2. So like Gaddock Teague comes into play. And attacks from a Dryad Arbor, bringing Michael Caffrey to 19. End of turn, Gaddock Teague gets Path to Exiled. William Cow will go look through his deck for a basic land, put it right into play. Not what Michael Caffrey would rather do. He would rather have Swords to Plowshares right there, but had to get that Gaddock Teague off the table, probably tipping his hand that he might have something like a Jace in hand. Jace or Wrath of God. 2 pretty big trumps in this matchup. So Michael Caffrey just has a Misty Rainforest. And no real pressure yet. No Stoneforges for either player. William Cow gets to untap. Misty Rainforest, Geist of St. Traft. With Spell Pierce in hand to back it up. So Michael Caffrey will fetch a land and attempt to counterspell the Geist, but it'll definitely get Spell Pierce from William Cow. He's fetching up a Trop right now. And it's pretty interesting that he has 2 Tropical Islands in his deck, exactly 2 blue sources, not counting Noble Hierarch, and he's easily able to play a blue spell and Spell Pierce on turn 3. Thanks to Michael's path. Dried Arbor beats for 1, 16 life. And now that Geist of St. Traft has resolved, it's an entirely different game for Michael. He has to find a way to deal with that. Be it Wrath of God, or be it just blocking with a Mishra's Factory.
And Geist of St. Traft, an extremely difficult card for Michael to deal with in this match. Michael, continuing to develop his mana, has a Factory here. The Factory is going to be a pretty good answer to that Geist of St. Traft. William's going to need to either Wasteland that Factory, or even a Swords might be good enough. William, checking the Factory text. The Factory cannot pump itself the turn it comes into play because that is an activated ability. It will become a creature. Will be Summoning Sick. And a Wasteland for William. Exactly what he's looking for. And I like this play from William. William is casting a Green Sun Zenith for 2 prior to using the Wasteland and attacking. This gives Michael an opportunity to use his mana. William wants Michael to use his mana so that he doesn't have to use the Wasteland necessarily, and he wants to use the Wasteland be as conservative with the Wasteland as possible. So right now he's going to get an Exalted trigger and be able to Solid Pride Mage away the Factory if he needs to. But instead it looks like he's just... I like this also. He's just going to Wasteland. Yep, so Wasteland's Tundra. And, you know, this is actually a little bit risky because he opens himself up to the combination of Swords and Factory.
Snapcaster Mage for Michael.
Yeah, and that will also be able to do it here.
Yeah. Targeting Path to Exile in the graveyard, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And Snapcaster blocks Geist. Just a chump block, of course, as Geist is a 3/3 from Exalted.
Yeah, nice use of Solid Pride Mage's Exalted there.
Yeah.
And a Path to Exile from Michael. William's going to get to search his library for another basic land here, and he does have 2 basic lands in his deck.
Yep, exactly 2.
Nice. William, even though his opponent's playing Wastelands in his deck, will not want to fetch up basics against Michael because he knows his opponent has Path to Exile post-board. And not fetching up basics, that's going to make those paths way better.
I would say William is also a free card opportunist.
William is certainly a free card opportunist. Michael has also been a free card opportunist when we watched him play.
You know, I would say most good Magic players are.
Fun fact.
Yeah.
We learn something new as we watch. You know, you're a free card opportunist, I'm a free card opportunist. Both these players that we're watching are free card opportunists. And look, they're in the top 4 of the tournament.
It's a good place to be.
Definitely.
So Michael Caffrey gets to untap. We'll see if he can find a Wrath of God before that Geist of St. Traft kills him.
And it's going to be hard for him to do that. I mean...
Yeah, he has a Swords in hand, but that's... Can't target Geist. Nothing in his deck can deal with Geist except blocking and Wrath of God.
And Geist.
Well, and Geist. Legend rule. Ooh, so this is a draw step Surgical Extraction. Unclear what he's targeting, but we'll find out in a second here. Wasteland.
Wasteland. Seems reasonable. Now, it's Factory.
Right.
Is a reasonable answer to Geist. He can pump his Factory with itself. Is no longer summoning sick, so it can become 3/3.
He can. Now, we'll definitely see William Cow use that Horizon Canopy pre-combat. He'd love to draw Swords to Plowshares. He'd love to draw Punishing Fire. Something to make that Mishra's Factory unable to block.
Yeah. Now, even... Never mind, I was about to say something dumb.
Welcome to my world, Jake.
Yes. But remember that Mishra's Factory does become an artifact. So,
right.
You know, cards that kill artifacts.
Yeah. Kozali Pride Mage,
reasonable.
Perhaps. And it looks like a Knight of Reliquary was drawn.
That's not too bad either.
No, not a bad draw.
Yeah, something nice about another Reliquary is he can fetch him a Mazavith if he wants to, and then he can use the Mazavith to untap the Geist and still get the Angel token. So he can continue beating.
Yeah, Mazavith does not say your opponent's creatures, any creature.
Yeah. A fun thing you can do.
Yep.
Another fun thing with Mazavith is that you can use it to untap a Knight of the Reliquary after you've tapped it in your opponent's combat step.
In the end of combat step.
Yeah. You get multiple lands with it.
Yep. So Michael Caffrey has a Snapcaster Mage, flashing back swords, targeting Knight of the Reliquary, and William Cow will gain 6 life from that, going up to 24. And William Cow, we'll see if he can draw Punishing Fire. That would certainly put the game away.
But it doesn't look like it. It looks like he just has a land.
Just a Windswept Heath. Gonna thin the deck out a little more.
Probably just attacking with a Dryad Arbor here.
Yeah, I think so. Wow, no attack with Dryad Arbor. That's pretty interesting. I don't really like that because now now he has to fight through 2 potential creatures instead of just 1.
Yeah, it's tough. Like he's.
The only other thing that Dryad Arbor might do at a later point is pick up an equipment. That is maybe the reason he wanted to save it. So Michael Caffrey's brainstorming on his main phase, and will play a Scalding Tarn. William Cow drops to 23 end of turn, wants to thin his deck out as much as possible, and really he doesn't have that many lands left. Surgical Extraction took out some. He's also just drawn a lot of lands.
Yeah, yes, he's gotten a bit flooded here. Yeah. His deck doesn't even play that many lands.
Right. Path to Exile fetched him 2. Dryad Arbor was fetched with Green Sun Zenith.
So not many lands left in William's deck. His deck was very live at this point.
Right. And a lot of his draws are, and also a lot of his land draws are good too.
Do you think Michael is kept in the Jaces? Can't imagine he'd take them out.
We haven't seen any post-board. I would think he has them.
And what did William draw here? Something.
3 mana. It's like Crucible of Worlds. Interesting. He has a Horizon Canopy in his graveyard.
He does.
And if that resolves, and it does, that's going to be huge.
That's incredible.
Now, now William Cow has 2 hands, pretty much. So plays Horizon Canopy, sacrifices it to draw a card. And yeah, the top of William Cow's deck has been really kind to him this game.
Yeah, that Crucible of Worlds.
Yeah, huge.
Just unbelievable here.
Right. You don't have to side in the Enlightened Tutors if you want to side in certain artifacts. They're just good as one-ofs. Miser's one-ofs, as we see here. One of the best draws in his deck.
And that's an Elspeth, right?
Looks like it. 4 mana Elspeth.
Ooh, the Elspeth from the Elspeth vs. Tezzeret dual deck.
Ooh. And a really, really nice-looking unglued soldier token. Old school.
That is awesome.
It is.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. At the GP last week, I actually used Champions of Kamigawa's Spirit tokens.
Ooh, very nice.
Yeah.
Such style.
It's really all about the tokens.
That's a soldier token, though.
Yep.
That's like a really nice soldier token.
It is. End of turn, William Cow's Enlightened Tutoring, so it looks like he brought in those, as well as the Crucible.
Maybe he only brought in one.
Maybe.
And how many cards he wanted to take out.
Yeah. That's really more important than how many cards he wanted to bring in, even.
Just in general, it's more important.
Yeah, I agree. And he'll fetch up a Sword of Feast and Famine.
Seems reasonable to me.
Yeah. Sure does. Does not give protection from that Soldier Token nor that Snapcaster Mage.
But it'll make that Geist big enough where he can bash anyway.
Yeah. It will. It'll be interesting to see if he attacks Elspeth or Michael directly. So Horizon Canopy for the turn. Sword of Feast and Famine. Equip. That's the play for William Cow.
Very, very reasonable here.
And now he'll bash in. Yeah, that's a nice combination. Geist of St. Traff plus Sword of Feast and Famine. Almost like standard. And Angel does attack Elspeth. Soldier Token gets in the way. Elspeth down to 1 counter.
And William doing work against these Elspeths with the Geist of St. Traff over and over again.
Michael uses Fetch Land during his upkeep, it looks like, dropping to 10. He really needs a Wrath of God. That is the card he has to draw right now. Otherwise, his Elspeth will die on the next turn. And Wrath will leave only a Crucible.
Yeah, and if you Wrath when you don't have that Elspeth in play, that Crucible's going to run away with the game.
Right.
It's like Wrathing when your opponent has a Jace Bellerin on the table.
Yeah,
only worse.
just a personal Howling Mine for William Cow. Costs him 1 mana a turn.
And he's already got plenty of mana to cast whatever he draws. So.
Exactly. Michael will give that deck a good shuffle. Ask William nicely to cut him to Wrath of God. And I don't think that's a white-bordered card. Flooded Strand. Definitely not what Michael needs.
No.
Not even close.
Not even close.
Passes the turn. William Cow, end of turn. Draw a card. Horizon Canopy. Draw a card for his turn.
And,
have to imagine this will just be a repeat of last turn. Geist of St. Traff attack Elspeth.
Now Michael does have the access to the factory, though.
Right. So he can kill the Geist if he wants to.
Yeah, he's going to have to lose everything but the Soldier Token to kill the Geist.
Right.
And he chooses to do that.
Yeah.
Reasonably so.
Definitely a good move on Michael's part. And it looks like this will be a double block, Snapcaster and Mishra's. No real reason to block with that Soldier Token also.
Well, he could double block Soldier Token Mishra's and then pump the Mishra's.
Yeah, he could do that too. Keeping around a Snapcaster seems better than keeping around a Soldier Token. And that's exactly what he does. Mishra's pumps itself. Ooh, but William has drawn a Sword Splashairs on the Soldier. Well,
yeah, on the Soldier Token.
So Michael Caffrey up to 12.
Mm-hmm.
But more importantly, Elspeth down. Unless Michael Caffrey has a Swords of his own. Path to Exile targets the Angel. William Cow gains no life, gets no basic. So Elspeth gets to live for 1 more turn, unless Michael Caffrey can draw Wrath of God.
William, drawing another card with that Horizon Canopy.
Yep.
And a Stoneforge.
Stoneforge. Insult to injury here.
Yeah. And I think it's a Umezawa's Jitte.
Yep, looks like it. And he plays it.
As you do.
Yeah, you usually do when you can. Now Michael just wants to untap, just wants to see if there's a Wrath on top. Ooh, there's a white bordered card. That's the hand. William Cow advances to the finals, defeating Michael Caffrey 2-0. Maverick over Blue-White Stoneblade.
Wow.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, William Cal versus a Putrid deck versus Zach Tyree.
Wow.
How about that?
We are.
How about those called
we are
shots?
Soothsayers.